So thank you everybody for coming and listening. And today I have my teacher with me, the person I spent most of my life in very different parts of my life in France, in Zurich, and after that visiting a lot and always learning and getting the inspiration because Madame Michel, she's really one of the most versatile harpists. She has so many different types of her career, and that if we talk about her biography, this is will be a long time. So, hello, Kathleen.
Hello, Sasha.
Hello. Nice to
you. I'm happy. You're
nice.
my darling. You're my little boy. You know, I call you little Sasha because it's ridiculous. Because for me, you will be always 9 years old. Like the first time I heard you in Geneva. You know, for the Congress. You know, that was so unbelievable. You were playing Renier already, Dans des Lutins, and you were so small. The harp seems so big. Anyway, you know that it's yesterday for me. Anyway.
Well, I got just one difference. I got this huge pair, and that's it. So I just want to explain what we do here. So I want to talk about the questions which are the most interesting for me and for the people who are listening us. And after that, I make kind of a cut. I put it all together, what we speak, and also put your recordings. So it will be some kind of like a full dialogue in one piece. I just saw that on American Harp Society, you just gave the interview, which is very interesting, and there is also your full biography. So if anybody interested, they can go to that journal, or your biography is everywhere on Wikipedia and everywhere. So we are not going to touch that. Everybody knows, of course, how many things you're done. So I want to start actually from the last phrase you was telling on that interview, because you finished that interview with the story of your work with Leonard Bernstein and Michel Legrand, and making now the new CDs, new publications of Bernstein and Debussy. And the last phrase you say in this interview is, "It's my sincere hope that the younger generation will follow this example and work with the composers of their generation." So first important thing, can you tell more about your work with Bernstein and with Legrand, and how you see now what we can do with our composers, how to inspire them?
Well, you know, first of all, you're talking about two different types of music. When Bernstein said to me, you should, it was a few months before he passed away, you should play music that people understand. Because we were talking together about the harp concertos, harp literature, and so on. And he said, you know, the problem is that your modern concerto are not really accessible. That was his word, you know. And I said, but Maestro, would you write something? He said, yes, of course, but give me time, because I cannot, you know, I have other things to do at the moment. Let's meet in November and we will decide and we will start working together. Unfortunately, he passed away in October. But he gave me his music and he said, why don't you play that on the harp and come and play that for me? In fact, you know, it was exactly the same thing happened to Pierre Jamet. Debussy said, my dear, you can play whatever you want on the harp, because myself, I always write for piano with a lot of pedal, a lot of resonance. So you can try any piece you want. And I was really, really touched, because Leonard Bernstein was not feeling well. He was very tired. He was very sad. And we talked a lot about his wife and his life and so on. And he was not well, I must say. And it was very moving to see this man so tired, but anyway, it's to tell me that he will be happy to work with me was really something that I appreciate very much. Yeah.
And what you would say to the now for us, for the generation, how you find this connection with the composers and how you motivate them?
Sasha, I'm going to tell you something that just happened to me last week. I was, after the classes here in Belgium, I was watching television, and there was a concert, a piano, and a very beautiful piece for piano. And I saw in the orchestra a lady I knew. So I called her and I said, who is this composer? Oh, he's quite known. I said, his concerto is beautiful and would be much better on the harp than the piano. So she laughed at me, because her daughter she's a harpist. And she said, oh, you're always looking for music. I said, yes, because it will be endless. So the next day she gave me the number, and I called this person and I said, Monsieur, I am Catherine Michel, a harpist with the Paris Opera long time ago. I didn't say that I was a soloist, who cares? But I said, I would love to meet you, because I want to see what we can do with your concerto. This is what you must do, all of you. Just try. If they say no, okay, good luck, goodbye. But I mean, it's so simple to be friendly and just open and say, I have the feeling this, believe it or not, but it happened to me that Legrand said I should have written that for the harp and never for piano. When I played the Yentl, he couldn't believe. First of all, he said to his copist, she won't make it. She won't play that. It's impossible. Okay. A harp is just to play glissando in an orchestra. Poor idiot, he doesn't know what we can do, my God. So, I mean, I laughed and I said to his copist, that's how I met him, through his copist. I said, let me try. And thank God I was lucky enough to be invited for a big concert in Paris, very important, at the Senat. And then I had a chance to play the piece. And next day, someone called him and said, well, this is so beautiful on the harp, you should listen. So finally, he called me and said, can I listen to you playing my pieces? But at the beginning, he said, no. Well, okay, so he said, if they say no, the hell with them.
No, okay, I see. So that's already looks like a plan to see which composers you would like to work. I mean, for my generation or basically it's as you say, endless work, and then to inspire them by playing something what is close to them or playing their music. But then maybe you faced this problem as well, because I faced that a lot. You speak to the composer, he is very interested to write for the harp, but then he tells that, okay, my work will be 20,000 euro.
Oui, alors, my situation was different, because with these two magicians of music, Bernstein or Legrand, even John Williams gave me his music. He wrote this concerto, so this is written already, it's played. So I mean, I'm not interested to do it again. Why? It's more interesting to do something new. So when he gave me his music, I was very, very happy. If they say no, it's very often because they don't know how to write for harp. It's difficult to write for the harp. So the thing to do, I think, is to just ask their music for piano and do our own arrangement. This is what I did with Yentl. People are asking me, can I play Yentl? Blah, 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 blah. It's my arrangement. It's absolutely not. If you see the piano part, you wouldn't believe, because Michel would never write his own part, because he knew everything by memory. Even on the conductor, on the score, you don't see the part of the soloist. So when people ask me, can I have it? Yes, you can have it, of course, but nothing is written. You see, so the thing is, we have to. It won't come from heaven. We have to do it. We have to. And just play for them, and if they like it, very good, and if they don't like it, it's too bad. But when it works, it works. That's
Well,
all.
you have such a great energy all the time. I mean, and everybody tells it. People who knows you for entire life. You started to work when you was 16 in the orchestra. So,
Yeah,
and
but Sasha, excuse me, I want to say that it was fantastic for me because the education I had with Pierre Jamet was mainly based on Ravel, Debussy, all the classic works, etc., etc. But when I got to Ireland to work, it was a light orchestra. And suddenly I heard these Gershwin pieces, I heard the Irish songs, a lot of American tunes and so on. I mean, it was another world. But then I learned how to play quickly in an orchestra, change the pedals quickly, boom, boom, glissandi, and so on and so on. Film music. So why? Maybe it's a matter of this destiny. That maybe I came back to this, but it was just unbelievable for me to discover all these songs and musicals and so on. So I was very, very, very young. But I was also very happy to get into a good orchestra when I was 22. Orchestre National was excellent orchestra with fantastic conductors, excellent musicians. So, I mean, it was, with age now, I think that we cannot fight against what is your destiny. Huh? Is that the right word? Distance?
that's
Yeah.
that's absolutely right word. Yeah.
So sometimes people say, "Oh, you were so lucky, this and this and that." I can tell you, I was not lucky in my youth at all. But then I thought that music was going to fill up everything I needed, and it was a matter of, tell me why you audition for a job, and you have to be excellent the morning of the, I don't know, 16th of December to get a fantastic job. Why? This is just your destiny, that's all.
Exactly.
Simple. It's very simple.
Well, it's also the preparation for the life because you prepared me to do whatever I do now in any genre. You never teach me how to play rock music, but you teach me how to play harp, and I can play rock music. So I know how it was. I mean, it was very, very tough sometimes. Yeah, of course, you are not the easy teacher. You fight till you win. There is there should be no losers because there is a win-win situation.
So, what is important to me is the result. I know I'm difficult sometimes. I know, but it's not that I'm against the person. It's because I want the best for the person, and it kills me when I don't listen to someone who doesn't play the way he should or she should, because just the work is not behind, and you see what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. What was happening in your education with Pierre Jamet? What he wanted from you? What he was?
Oh, Monsieur Jamet, he was unbelievable person. First of all, my father left when I was 3, so there was no father at home, and it was everything. It was my father, my grandfather, my big brother. He was my teacher, first of all. But what was extremely important? I met him. I think he was about 68 or something like this. And later he told me, I'm so lucky I met you late in my life, because it's only when I stopped the Paris Conservatory, when I retired, that I had the feeling I knew what I was talking about. Can you imagine? He was so humble, but his culture was enormous, because, his lessons were not only harp lessons. His lessons were never an hour. We would come at 11, at 1:30 p.m., maybe we would be out of his apartment, But he would speak about painting, he would speak about ballet, he would speak about everything, opera, of course, because he was at the Paris Opera a long, long time. But I mean, he did open my eyes, and of course, because of this education I had from him, I was curious. you know, and I started looking for music when I was very, very young. All the library of my mother was a harpist too, and she was a pupil of Tournier, and all the music she had at home, I couldn't wait until I would discover all the music, and I was playing things much too difficult for me, but at least I knew the piece, you know, when he would say something or when the pupils of the class would play something, I knew, you know, can you believe that we were due, and you know, this is for the young generation, it's just unbelievable. But when I got to the class in the Paris Conservatory, I was only 13, and we were three Catherine in the class: Catherine Eisenhofer, Catherine de Pressac, and Catherine Michel and me. And they were, and Susanna Mildonian, whom I love so much. So Suzanne, she was a fairy for me, you know, a star. She was so wonderful, and they're still my sisters, all of them. And I must say, we were a wonderful group. And anyway, we were due, not Susanna Mildonian because she was much better than us, but we were due to learn 2 etudes by memory every week. 2 etudes. Could be Boxa, could be Dizzy, could be Schmidt, could be Posse, could be anyway. 2 etudes a week, plus 1 concerto every month, 1 movement of a concerto, excuse me, or 1 piece. Why? Because the rule in the Paris Conservatory, when you audition for your diploma, you must learn a piece in 1 month, day per day. It's published, let's say, on the 14th of May to be played on the 14th of June. And you get the music, and you must play by memory. So we were due to learn a lot of things, and this training, this appetite of learning, discovering, was something absolutely natural. You know, it was, we wouldn't complain, it was, you know, I remember the first lesson I had in the Paris Conservatory, I knew only 1 etude by memory, not the second. Monsieur Jamais just said quiet, he was very elegant, you know, he would say, oh, this is no problem, Catherine, for next week, you learn 2 more and you finish the one you don't know. So I had three, you know, but bon, no comment. It was the way we would all of us, we would do, all of us. And we had 1 class every month with piano, if it's a concerto. And he would invite Madame Kahn, he would invite important, I don't know if you know Madame Kahn, she was Jean-Michel Dama's mother. You know, and Fauré wrote for her. Can you imagine? She performed the Ravel for the first time when Madame Kahn was in the class, you know. I just couldn't believe they were a legend for us, these people, you know. They were fantastic. So that was, as we say in France, c'était mon lait. That was my milk, you know. That was my daily life. Voila, you know, about Pierre Jamais. But, you know, it was something just unbelievable, and wow, he's with me all the time when I teach. You know, I speak about him, of course, and you know, when you're a little girl and you hear Debussy said this and that to me, you know, Ravel this and you know, Caplet, or Jean Cras. You know, we know very little about Jean Cras, but he composed for him, and his music is really beautiful. Anyway, bon.
Well, that's a life, and when I teach now, I say your words and you're speaking through me, and I think that's going on. But there is one thing you often say in interviews, that now the things are changed, that students are coming to study, they enter the school and they ask what they will play for examination in 3 years, to start preparing right now to learn the program in 3 years. And of course this is the question of generations, because of course then, like Hasselmann, he had among his students Henriette Renier, Marcel Tournier, Salcedo, Granjani, Laskin, and your teacher Pierre Jamais, and they all of them had wonderful students. So what do you think, what is changed? It's not about the harpists, it's about the system, or it's also our problem which we need to solve as the harpist society?
No, Sasha, as I said about these pieces that we were due to learn so quickly, it's not like this anymore. Now you prepare an international competition and you prepare this competition for 1 year or even 1 year and a half. And I am very, very sorry, but I must say I am extremely, extremely sad to see that every competition asks for the same pieces. And I am very, very sad about it because it doesn't open the repertoire. Well, of course, when you go to competition, don't tell me that you're ready for a big career, because a big career is with many concerto, many different pieces, and so on and so on. But now, unfortunately, I would blame more the competitions than anything else. And even look, for instance, for a job, what do they ask? Forêt impromptu, in Germany, sport fantasy, Debussy dances sometime. It's always the same pieces. I'm very, very, very sorry. I can tell you, not too long ago, a girl I know, she studies she's in Germany, but she comes in the summer, and she's a very, very sweet girl. She went to a competition, and one member of the jury said, "Oh, I didn't know that Saint-Saëns wrote a concerto for harp and orchestra." I mean, a judge. And another time I had a boy, well, he was with you in the class.
I remember Christian.
Nicola.
Before.
Nicola. It was maybe before you. He went to Bloomington, and one of the jury said, "I couldn't judge your piece because I don't know the piece. It was a piece by Paris Chalvas." My God, Bon, I am harmless. I don't know what to say about that. I am very much against. But they teach what they know. And the judge, the competition, they want to have a lot of contestants, so they put the forêt impromptu. And how did they play forêt impromptu? Like chewing gum now. The new way is they say it's interpretation. Oh my God!
Yeah.
Let's speak about interpretation, please, Sasha. Really,
Yes, I remember your phrase, which is absolutely amazing. It's from the interview, is that in the modern stream, people do like, I play as I feel, and if I play as I feel, then it must be right because I play as I feel. So, yes, that's a lack of interpretation.
Sasha, again, in this article, by the way, you tell me about this article, I haven't read it. I do not have it yet, but I just have really good. But honestly, the training of playing chamber music or playing in an orchestra is very important, because what I hear now, that all these young soloists, and God knows they have good technique and they are very talented and so on, but the style is very often out, very far away. I was lucky to meet Madame Kahn. Okay, Fauré wrote for her, and I think she got the diploma in the Paris Conservatory when she was 12 or 13, with the Impromptu by Fauré. And Fauré was so much in love with her, even she was a child, he couldn't believe, but she said to me, everybody plays Fauré very, very rubato. It's not rubato. One of my colleagues in England one day said, "Oh, this is interpretation, to do the Ravel with different..." Not at all. Listen to Ravel conducting on YouTube, and then you know exactly the tempo he wants. I mean, we have reference. We can listen to that. It's not difficult. No.
No, it's totally not difficult, and I also talk about that we can also listen not only to the harpist but to other musicians. But how like if I'm the teacher and I have a class, I don't have it right now, but for example, there is somebody listening us now, and they are the teachers or will be the teachers. How you would see to construct the process to teach the people the interpretation? How the process of...
It's very simple. I was many times in jury for orchestras. And the first thing I see myself, either the concertmaster, either the flute solo, or the conductor, they just beat on the table. And they look at me and they say, "Oh, the harpist, really, you don't play a tempo." just want to kill them, because all my life I studied with a metronome, and it's not a metronome that will make me play dry and stiff, not at all. And Legrand had a fantastic expression. He said, la liberté dans la contrainte. Alors, I don't know how to say that in English. To be free, but perfectly a tempo. You see? And it is possible. And then this is why I see, unfortunately, a lot of girls, they have first prize from big competitions, but when they audition for orchestra, we don't take them. Why? Because they play chewing gum style. You understand? So the only way is just to tell everybody, please just study slowly, and just when you have the beats inside, you feel, and then you let your personality go. That's all. And you know, I can tell you, now these days, there's something I want to speak also about, is the quality of sound. It's now these days, I cannot tell you, well, you, yes, but you know, I cannot say who plays. On YouTube, first of all, the quality of the sound is terrible. And you hear people, and it's always the same sound. The tempi are much too fast. It's not at all what the composer wants. What do we do with that? And then we're surprised because they don't get jobs. And I know first prizes, fantastic people, they were fantastic. They stopped. And they decided enough is enough, because the repertoire is not opening. My God, it's not difficult to look for music. It's not difficult to find pieces. It's not difficult to ask composers. You are so lucky, Sasha. You compose. You also transcribe. Everybody, maybe not so good, but a lot of people can do it. I'm not speaking about your standard of technique. When I see, you know, I have the music of Scheherazade and so on, it's absolutely fantastic. Not everybody can play that, but there are many pieces. The other day, I was looking, I saw a piece of a Russian composer. Don't laugh at my accent, please. Rybnikov.
Rybnikov.
Oui, look, it was beautiful on the harp. By chance, you know, I found this music, and I was with my pupil and so on and so on. I said, oh, let me try. I did try. It was just marvelous. I mean, anybody can do that. It doesn't have to be extremely difficult if it's just beautiful. Okay?
That's right. And I know that you have a huge library and you spend so much time in the archives looking for the music, doing the research. And now most of it is in the internet, and people keep asking where I can find that music or this music. Well, in the internet is now possible to find anything, but how is to construct the program? Because sometimes I have the feeling that students, they a little bit afraid to start looking for something. They have the standard repertoire with the Fauré, Spohr, and Debussy, and till they are not like 25 or something, they are not even looking for a new things. So how you think is to motivate people to search? How you did?
I don't know, Sasha. I think it's also a matter of personality. As I told you, when I was a child, I was reading. My mother passed away. I was 9 only, so I was reading her music, piano and harp, every night, every evening. We had no television. We had, you know, the life was not like now. So I mean, I was, you know, it was like this, and I think the only thing we can do is just encourage them to do the same. I can tell you all this composer, this Russian composer, I'm going to look for his music. And do you know what I did here for the confinement, as we say in French? You know, I'm in Belgium now for 2 months. I cannot go out of the school because nobody can go out. Now I can go out with a mask. Can you believe that I learned 5 concertos? 5.
I can't believe that. Wow.
And I was so happy because I'm going to record them, and I'm very happy. It's fantastic. You know, this concerto I played in Hong Kong. You were not in Hong Kong, but you know, a lot of people say, "Oh, beautiful." When you speak about boxa, people say, "Oh, boxa music." You know, my God, the concerto is just so brilliant and difficult, and you know, my God, why not? You understand? I'm sure that the young generation, all of you, and also you will you will transcribe things, and don't stop. Don't. I mean, it would be the end of harp playing as soloist if we don't keep going. You know.
That's absolutely true. But you had this possibility, which basically you created, to have so many interesting concerts with Michel Legrand playing his music. As I understand, there was a very long story of your professional relationships and your cooperation in making the transcriptions, making new work. So can you tell a little bit how it started and how it went that it's now like 7 or 8 pieces by Michel Legrand for the harp? How it started?
It was not only his compositions, he also arranged other compositions. In fact, when I met him, in fact, as I said before, it was because of his copyist, who was a trombone player and who would come regularly to the Paris Opera. And one evening he said, "Oh, what are you doing lately?" Because he knew that I was giving some concert. It's very interesting because people think that I was always a soloist. No, I was a soloist of an orchestra. And an orchestra like Orchestre National and Orchestre de l'Opéra, you cannot be free to do concerts. So I had to, to jump and see. Thank God we had our schedule in May, so I could say, yes, I can, or no, I can't, etc. Anyway, just to come back to the copies of Legrand, he said, I will give you the music with Legrand permission. As I said before, Legrand said, no, she won't make it, this and this and that. But anyway, this long career was started not very well because he refused at the beginning. So it was difficult for me to imagine. And we, thank God, we had an opportunity to do one CD. And this CD got a big award on television. And that was really the beginning. But it was after 2 or 3 years after we met. It didn't come so quickly like this, And so we went to Japan. And then for many years, I had no contact with him. Then we went back to Japan. We had a big tour in Japan I don't remember when anyway. So we went back to Japan. And after that, he said, oh, I would love to do more for you. The public loves it. People, it was so funny because people were not expecting a harp concerto in his concerts. Song that was jazz and so on, and the films and so on, and suddenly someone brings a harp on stage. So what happens? I hear, oh, people were surprised, and classical music, but after I played Yentl, it was always a big success, and the thing I didn't like too much is that I was always playing the same pieces for 20 years, it was always Summer 42 and Yentl. So after a while I was fed up. I did record other things with him, but never performed. It was only on recordings, and these recordings were they were asked, the record company would say, can you do this, can you do that? The only thing he did by himself was a CD for Sony. It was Jazz in Classic, and that was really nice. That was his idea. So he took a lot of old jazz thema he knew and arranged it in classic way, like a piece by Oscar Peterson would become Tchaikovsky music. That was really nice. That was his idea. And I remember that the first piece he really wrote for me after I transcribed myself Yentl and Summer 42 also. Summer 42 is my arrangement. It was West Side Story. received by post. And his secretary said, "Oh, he was, not too happy. He was a bit nervous and so on." And he went to his piano and he started writing. And he said, "Send that to Catherine." Voilà. So that's how West Side Story was really nice. But for instance, West Side Story, he didn't write the orchestration. He only wrote the harp part. There are a few things like this. Porgy and Bess also, the orchestration is not his orchestration. It's one of his friends who did it. Voilà. Bon, voilà. But it was nice. I mean, people would never come to a concert with Michel Legrand to listen to harp, but it worked.
But that's what I see as my duty, the same way to find the concerts where the harp could be presented on a much bigger audience, on much more important place, as you did. That's why it's very important.
No, but again, as Leonard Bernstein said to me, play accessible music that people understand. And he said it could be variations on opera. It could be, like a Norma. Nobody knows, almost nobody, that Norma is written for harp and orchestra. We have the Marielle published it for harp alone, but it's not at all for harp alone. It's harp and orchestra. Imagine, suddenly you are one of the greatest singer on stage. It's fantastic, But there is many other pieces we can find like this,
There is still a lot of work to do, and with repertoire, with interpretation, with work with composers, conductors. And there is just one last thing I wanted to ask you, but it is very important topic because you made a piece facile pour harp, so the easy pieces. Yes, and you try to work with the young generation to motivate them to work, to look for new music, to play it, and so on and so on. But how you see the education right now, especially if we talk about the harp schools? Because, like, for example, I just found this very interesting part of the interview with Henriette Renier. And she was saying about her arrangements of Liszt and other composers. And she says that to perform a sonorous effect, legato tones, detached tones, and so on, one must often go against the technical rules written in the method of the instrument. So we have a lot of methods, even by Renier, by other people, but in the real life, with the task you was facing all your life, we use different things. What is that?
I understand what you mean, but Sacha, I want to say something. At the moment, what I am terribly concerned is that a lot of young people start much too soon on a small harp. And the position is not the same on a Celtic harp and on a big harp. And I see, unfortunately, especially in Asia, a lot of people having a terrible position because the soundboard is so narrow that they put their hand on the harp like this. And it's a hell of a job to have them have a right position. And I am terribly concerned about that. And I know that Madame Dolova refused for years and years in Russia that the children would start with a small harp. Now, to me, the Irish harp, and I say Irish because it's Celtic tradition, it's just fabulous. One of the beautiful concerts I heard in my life was at the Congress in Dublin. The opening night was absolutely fantastic. The sound of these people playing were so beautiful. The music was beautiful. It was in the St. Patrick's Cathedral, with candles, I was in another world. It was fabulous. So please understand that I have nothing against these people, but I want to tell everybody, if you start a child on a small harp, be very careful about the position. Do I answer to your question?
Well, partly about the position on the, yes, I totally agree, because in the Soviet Union, when I was little, of course, there were no any Celtic harp. There were even difficult to get the big harp. So my first harp was constructed out of the old broken harps in order just to have the yes, because the harp at home. And you played that harp when you first time came to Russia, and yeah, so that was that, but that was experience that you to get the sound from the harp. Like my mother always asked me to play with a full sound. I needed to work a lot, and that was difficult. But
And I
yeah,
say with years, harp have improved so much. My mother's harp was Erard, and I have nothing against Erard, my God. But to have a beautiful big sound with an Erard, my God, this is why Pierre Jamet was so demanding, so difficult for the sound. He would explain hours and hours, and he would not care about the time, explaining how to have a beautiful sound, how to press the string, how to relax for the sound, and so on and so on. He spent hours and hours. That was, I was asked one day, what was his main worry in a lesson? I said, the sound, And, now I see young people, they have fantastic technique and so on and so on. But I am terribly sorry to see them like this, like spiders, and it's not good for the sound. Now, coming back to this CD, I just want to tell you that my dream is to have enough time to do more, because I found so many beautiful, easy pieces for harp that are not published and nobody know about. And I really want to give an opportunity to people to listen to these new pieces. My class this year, unfortunately, with the virus, we are not finished, but we were supposed to do one full CD with unknown music for the Congress, and present that at the Congress, because some of the pieces were just marvelous. So I mean, I will keep going. I mean, you're not going to change me at 72, huh?
for sure not. It's difficult year. It's a difficult year. I totally forgot, and I never. Maybe we all totally forgot that this year is exactly 300 years since Hochbrucker made the first pedal harp.
Oh
This
God,
year,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
accidentally I went to search for something about the harp, and then I see, okay, Hochbrucker, and I remember, okay, this is the first pedal harps, and then I see 1720. I think that's exactly 300 years from now.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, and
And
we achieved so much.
it's time now to develop a harp without pedal. It's time also to go beyond now. It's
I
time. It's time to just prepare everything with the computer, and then just control when you change the pedals. It's time. It's time.
Well, I think that we will go further, and we could control everything just from our brain impulse. So you before you go to play the harp, you just put something on your head, and then when you need to change the pedal, you just think about it, and the pedal changes by itself.
I don't go so far, but just click on something, and the pedals will change, and not every octave. But anyway.
Yeah, but that will be important. So I mean, thank you so much for everything. It's so inspiring, and it's so important.
Really nice. That's very nice. I love every second of it.
And thank you so much. I hope that we see each other very soon,
In fact,
and or
when I
July. And yeah, is there anything you want to say?
well, just my love to you, first of all, because you were. I know I was difficult with you because I knew exactly what level you could, and you are now. I heard you play the other day. I was so moved, and my pupils can tell you that I was almost in tears, because what do? We want the best for our pupils. We want the best for the public. We want to improve everything. And when it works, I can tell you there's no prize for that. Okay, bravo, Sacha.
I'm sure we will be doing that. Thank you. Thank you so much,
Keep
Kade.
going, and if sometimes you feel, oh, I'm not in good shape, you call me and I will help you. Okay.
That's what I do.
Bye-bye,
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye, darling.